In this video, I'm going to talk about how you would bring stairs into your project. I'm looking at the 3D view, and I have planned to have 3 sets of stairs for this 2-story structure back here. One of them will come down from this end, one will be in the center, and one will be on this end of the project. And the idea is that these will be U-shaped stairs. However, to sort of illustrate the process, I'm going to start by making a straight run stair, so you have that to refer to. So I'm going to go to the level 2 plan here. And the reason I'm doing this from level 2, because when you first start off, it's assuming that you're at the bottom of the stair. But the reason I'm going to level 2 is I want to see what the profile of the floor is at that level. So that's this piece right here. So let me go back to the 3D view. So you can see I have this little kind of piece that sort of sticks out, and that's where I'm going to begin making my stair. I wanted a little bit more depth there, just to kind of clear the elevator that's located over here. And anyway, so let's go back to level 2. All right, so the stairs. Under the architecture tab, you're going to find stairs. So when you click on the stair, it puts you into this mode where you can place it. And you'll see that there are a bunch of stair options. Now, as part of our planning process, I gave you suggestions of either a straight run stair, an L-shaped stair, or a U-shaped stair, which a U-shaped stair is also referred to as a switchback stair. But you'll notice here that we have something called winders. So winders are these, these treads of the stair that are at a diagonal. And as this is a motel, we really don't want to have that type of stair. It's rather dangerous, and codes do not permit that kind of stair in this type of occupancy. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to construct them out of straight run stairs. So even though I may have an L-shaped stair or a U-shaped stair in my project, I would still construct it out of these straight run stairs. But as I mentioned before, I'm planning on putting a U-shaped stair in this project, but to illustrate how to go about this process, I'm going to click on the straight run and just make a straight run stair. Okay, so by default, it is going to assume a few things. One, that this is the type of stair that we want to use. So an assembled stair, metal plate, stringer. So in other words, this stair has steel stringers, and those are the elements that are running along the side of the stair. And it also has treads that have steel, but they also have concrete poured in pans, steel pans. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So what it's saying is, the base level is level 2 and the top level is level 3. But I want this to go from level 1 to level 2. So I'm going to change these values to L1 and L2. The top of the concrete, so I have a topping slab at level 2 and I have a concrete slab at level 1, is at the 0, 0 height, so I don't really need to do anything with the base offset. Okay, so let's go into edit type here so you can kind of see a few things about how this works. It has already some default calculation rules, and these are based on, first of all, they're imperial units, and they're also based on, code, the tendency for codes to have certain limits to things. So common code would be that the maximum riser height is 7 inches. So Revit has that as part of its default, and it also establishes the minimum tread depth. So I don't really want to change that, but I may want to change the run width. So this is 3 feet 8 inches, which is a minimum width. But when I make my stair, I really would like to make it a little wider to make it easier for two people to pass, one person going up the stair and one person going down. So if you wanted to change some of these values, you could edit them. But again, this is a good place for us to start. And just one thing I want to note here, that this is a kind of a convention, a rule of thumb for how you calculate the number of or the size of a run, or the size of a riser and a tread. So the riser is the flat part of a step, and the tread is the flat part of the step. The riser is the vertical part of the step. So you can kind of put these values in here. 2 risers plus 1 tread. 2 risers plus 1 tread equals 2 feet 1 inches. So again, that's a rule of thumb, 25 inches. And so you can actually change those values, but we're going to leave them as they are. There's some other things that can be changed here. Right support type, left support type, whether or not there's a middle support. Our stair isn't really going to be wide enough unless you want to make it very wide, that we would need this. So we can talk about that individually. So I'm going to say cancel here. And now what we're going to do is begin building the stair. So what it's asking for when I click on this is a start point. Now, for me, I'm just going to illustrate how this works. The first point that you pick is the bottom of the stair. The second point is the top. So if I just click this intersection and I bring my stair up like so, what you can see is that it's created 17 risers. So again, that's the vertical part of the step. And there are 17 of those. Then there would be 16 treads. There's always one less tread than riser. Now, it's not placed kind of where I would ideally like it to be. I want to move it so that it goes from, let's see if we can snap there. Yeah. So it's going to be centered on one of the grid lines. And okay, now the other thing that I can change from here would be the width. So again, you could make this stair as wide as you would like, but it can't be less than this 3 feet 8 inches, which is a code minimum. But I could make it 6 feet, for example. Okay, and then when I'm done, I can hit the check mark. Elements have duplicate mark values, so we're going to ignore that. So there we have this default stair, and it also brought in a default railing type. When I click on elements within the stair, I am given options to be able to change some of these things, and that includes also the railings. So, to not to get into too much detail from a code standpoint about what we have here, if we were to click on edit type, railing height 3 feet 4, and the top rail 3 feet 4 here, that's fine. I wouldn't change anything about that. If you're happy with this existing railing, if you'd like to change the style of the railing, there are alternate options. You can change all these parts of it. So let's say I wanted to do a rectangular handrail. So these are rectangular balusters, these vertical members. If you prefer that, that's fine. If you would prefer a horizontal pipe rail, that's fine too. Let's see, what else do we have here? And I change this glass pattern. Okay, so this one is a glass panel. The one thing you need to be careful of is that we need to have that extra height here should be 3 feet 4 inches. Apply and okay. So it just raised that up a little bit. And also all of our railings need to have handrail. So you'll notice on the default one, there is a handrail. Let's see if we can spin around here a little bit. That handrail, that's separate from what's referred to as the guardrail. This is the guardrail back here. This is the handrail. You can't have just a handrail with some posts that go down. You need to have a guardrail. This is also a code requirement. So this one here has glass panels instead of these vertical balusters. But you need to have this handrail because it needs to be at a certain height that's more comfortable for people to use. So I am going to switch this out to pipe rail type. And I'm going to edit the type. And top rail handrail, it says none. I'm going to include one, a circular one, say okay. Position, I'll have to play around with this. It's going to put it on one side or the other. And okay, it put it on the correct side. So this one is the left side. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't putting that rail, that handrail on the outside of the stair, which wouldn't be very helpful. This one also appears to be too short. So I'm going to change this guardrail to 2.4 inches. Okay, so we have a handrail and we have the top guardrail. And it looks like I need to add an extra pipe rail in here, and I'll show you how to do that. Rail structure, ballast replacement. So we could add another one, insert. Oops, let's move this one up. And I'm going to call this rail 6. And we will place that. No, I don't think I want to do that. Let's do this. Let's delete this. Let's insert. We're going to make that one at 3 feet. Circular handrail. There's the default one. And we'll call this rail 0. And apply and okay. And apply and okay. Right, so it added another one. So there are changes that you could make to those. Now, we are also needing to follow a requirement that there not be more than 4 inches of space between these, and that is a safety issue. So I'm going to change both of these to guardrail type. And there's some additional details that maybe need to happen at the bottom of this handrail, but we won't get into any more of those. I think you get the idea about how to make these kinds of changes. All right, so that's one thing. And so that's my straight run stair. And if you remember, it had 17 risers. So what happens if I want to put in here a U-shaped stair? So I'm going to go back to level 2. And I'm going to make my stair start at the bottom here. It's going to have a landing and then it's going to go back up. So for that, I will go to stair again, and I'm going to use again the same straight run stairs. I do not want to use one that has these dangerous winders. And so it's, let's see what's it doing. This again, I need to change this to level 1 to level 2. And it's going to calculate the number of risers again. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I am going to, okay, so when I put that straight run stair, you may remember it had a center through it. This time, I'm going to try to do exterior support right. Okay, now I need 17 risers, but since this is a switchback or U-shaped stair, I'm going to do 9 on one side and 8 on the other. Okay, the actual run, I'm going to change this to 4 feet 8 inches. I'll make it a little bit wider. Okay, so I'm going to click here, and if you'll notice at the bottom in gray, it says 10 risers created. Let's make this 9. And then I'm going to come over here, click again, and go up to the top. Okay, so let's see here. Now I have this gap, which means I need to move my stair 1. Since my treads are 11 inches, I'm going to move it up like so. And let's take a look at this in 3D. Okay, there's the stair. The railings haven't been added yet. But when I click on check mark, you get this message, railing's not continuous, and we'll just accept that issue. So this also would become type rail, and I already made the changes to this file, so I don't need to change them again. Type rail. And you, again, you should choose the one that you think is best for your project. Okay, so that is a U-shaped stair. Okay, for my U-shaped stair, I'm just going to move over here to the side. I've already clicked on the stair tool, and I'm going to begin constructing this. Now, which side you go kind of depends. So if I did exterior support left here and I make this stair, so again, it should be 8 or 9 if you want that landing to be centered. And then, oops, okay. So what I just did by mistake here is I made an extra long landing. So let's delete this. And let's do it again, run straight. So I'm going to come down here, let's say 8. And then I'm going to continue like so, and it will make a landing in between the two runs of the stair. So let's take a look at that in 3D. And down to the left here. Okay, and then it can add the railings too. Once you hit the check mark, they should appear, and you can change them as you need to. Okay, so those are the options for the 3 stairs. One thing to keep in mind when planning this stair is that we want to provide a stair so that if someone were to leave any one of these units, they could get to one of the 2 stairs in 50 feet or less. So that's really what's driving how many stairs you have. You could always add more, but you could not do less. Okay, and there are my 3 stairs, all U-shaped and having the same configuration of up and down.